I, in my life, have learned that you have to draw lines. You know, you really do, especially with people that you love, so that they can't respect boundaries that you don't have. If you don't have them, then they won't respect them. And so if you do it sooner than later, then I think it doesn't have to get to places where it's out of control. When I was very young, I grew up in the church, so I watched my mom sing a lot. I think what I loved so much watching her perform was the way that people responded to her performing. That really, elated me, because I was just like, dang, people really love when that lady sings. You know, what is that she's doing? You know, so as early as like 3, 4, 5, I knew that I wanted to sing because I wanted to be a part of the relationship, the exchange that I saw her having with the people in the congregation when she was on stage singing. And then acting, that came later. So my parents would talk to me a lot about performing, and they even took us to like the Black Ensemble Theater, which is a small Chicago theater, and we watched some shows before. So I had seen it, I had heard about it, but then they asked me if I wanted to go and do it, like if I wanted to actually audition and do some acting. And I was like, okay, this is cool. I was about 9 years old, and I was excited to try it because, you know, you hear about these things from your parents and you're like, I want to be a part of this. What is it you're talking about? And I went down and I did it. You know, I learned the lines. I did a little singing of a song, and then I wasn't out. I mean, I didn't get it. I was out. And so I was like, oh, you know, that was sad. And they were like, do you think you might want to do something like this again? And I said, yes, I would love to. And I also think it was the competitive nature too. You think about it when kids get into basketball or football or soccer, or you have it, it was the same thing for me essentially. It felt like a sport.
I'm not sure if you're saying imminent or eminent.
Would you like a definition?
That'd be cool.
I think that felt like a big moment, but then when the movie didn't do good in theaters, I felt like confused. Because I was like, y'all was like, this is about to be a hit. Y'all took it out the theaters, it went so bad, you know, in the box office. So I was confused. The first time that it happened all on point together, where inside and outside and all of it was looking the way it was supposed to look, was True Jackson VP.
I want you to be my VP of Youth Apparel.
Well, I'll have to ask my mom, but that sounds great. That was the first time where it was like, okay, y'all said things was about to change, and we are absolutely in that, in the Jefferson show, okay? We've moved on to the big leagues, okay? My life changed drastically after True Jackson VP, for sure.
Keke, straight out here,
It changed everything in a way that it can never go back. You know, in the simple terms of just dialing it back, what does it mean for something to be traumatizing is, it shocks you. You know, that's what fame did to my family, and the popularity and the money and it just shocked us. It was a shock that I could make that much money. It was a shock that I could go to Universal Studios and have 100 people surrounding me at once. I think that was traumatizing. You know what I mean? And so I remember the first time that my dad used that word, you know, when we, you know, this is years later, and we started going to family therapy and just having therapy be a part of our dialogue. And my dad said, he said, what we went through out here, it was traumatizing. Fame is a traumatizing thing. And I was like, oh, you know what, you're right.
I want to talk about this one moment, and it's something that happened when you were a child.
Yeah.
A traumatic event that you said you didn't even realize.
When people think about molestation, we really often mainly just think about it from an adult to a child. We don't really think about child-on-child molestation, but it's something that exists, you know, and it's, you know, can happen usually in family because kids are left alone, or somebody is in the other room, or somebody has been exposed to something, or maybe somebody else had been touched by someone older or whatever. It becomes a thing. And so that's why I didn't know that I had been molested, because it wasn't an adult. It was not this sinister event. It was something that I felt was weird, and I felt violated, or that I was introduced to something that I shouldn't have been being introduced to. But I didn't know really how to place it. I just knew I had all these weird feelings and thoughts, and I felt a little bit out of control and overwhelming. And I remember at a very young age, I was like 5 or 6, maybe 5 to 7 or whatever like that, I would start praying, you know what I mean, to help me to just, I don't want to think about these things or feel this way, or what is this about? Like, I just had so many questions that I couldn't ask. So fast forward, you know, that period of my life, it went away, you know, nothing more happened, and I no longer was thinking about it. And then when I was 12, I was reading in a book about sexual abuse. And it started saying all these things about anxiety and, hypersexualization and all of this stuff that I attributed to me. But really, it was because of what I had experienced. And then I read even more about, child-on-child molestation. It is a thing. It's something that can happen, and what that framework is, and how it can have the same effects. And and I was careful of it because it wasn't about blaming that other child. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to make that the conversation. The conversation, what I was trying to say is that we don't know sometimes what has happened to us, especially if it doesn't look the way that the world has told you it looks like. And I think it can come with situations like that, or even more severe stuff where sometimes people don't even know they were raped, or don't know that they were sexually harassed, or don't know that what they're experiencing at work isn't okay until you read about something and it's like, oh, wait a minute. I felt like that. Is that what happened to me? And so that was really, what I was trying to just showcase, that sometimes we have trauma, or we have trauma that we don't even know we have. I think everybody in my family has dealt with anxiety and depression on both sides. So I think there's just some genetic stuff there with that's just something that my family has dealt with and never had the words, the resources, or the access to actually get help with it. It's, starts as, oh, my nerves are bad, or so-and-so been in the bed for 4 days. And it's like, okay, well, he's manic depressant. There are things that happen sometimes in the community, especially when you are from a community that's not of great wealth. A lot of things can be happening that someone else may know or understand that you don't have no way of understanding. And so I think it's that. And then I think I would probably mostly liken it to a collection of experiences. Yes, that experience, but also the experience of being a child entertainer, that caused me a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of depression. So I think it's not one thing. I would say it's a collection of all the things that and again, I say those things and talk about these things, even if you didn't go through what I've gone through. We all going through something. Early in my life, when love first came, I was really young, and I was trying to balance between being really young, but also feeling quite mature, quite old. So I felt quite aged, and I was emotionally dealing with a lot. I probably should have been talking to somebody. I don't know that I was in the best place, but I was in a great successful position in my life. But I was about 15, when I first fell in love. I was 15, he was 20. I think it grew me a lot. And again, I think it's another version of not realizing what you've experienced or what you've been through and how it's affected you. I even think the way that I would look at what was appropriate and what wasn't appropriate was based off of that relationship. Because if I thought it was inappropriate, then I wouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? Or if I felt it was really, But obviously, I should have been 15 dating no 20-year-old. There's nothing that really makes it right. You know what I'm saying? But at that young age, in my mind, I got a full-time job and I got all this stuff on my back and can't nobody understand me unless it's a grown man. But he knew there was a lot of stuff that there's no damn way for me to understand at damn 15. It don't have nothing to do with me having a grown-up job, never really knowing I could work this hard. Cue's the theme song. It had nothing to do with that. I wasn't mentally able to process and understand things that would have made that relationship appropriate. And I don't think I really realized that until I had an appropriate relationship where somebody gave me the space to even look at things for real. You know what I mean? It wasn't until I was a grown woman, real grown woman, 27, 28. And even then, we know we still got more time to grow then. I had finally experienced, I think, genuine love. Not that I didn't love that person, but I felt what it was like for someone to love me back and to actually give me respect, that I realized that relationship was wrong. I was one of those people that's like, by 25, I'm gonna have 2 kids. I don't know why you would, I thought that could happen or would happen, but yeah, in a perfect world, that's what I would have loved. So when we met each other and we had fallen in love, it was very much so, this is the time. Not only is this the person, but this is the right time. And so, yeah, it was a conscious decision. We, you know what I mean? We planned it. I remember always hearing my mom say that when I was younger. She would say, me and your father, we planned, y'all. There was something very romantic to me about, obviously, the consent of going into something with someone saying, let's do this. And so I think I always wanted that for me as well. And that's what I had, was us both saying, let's do this. We both want this, let's do this.
Leo, that's my name. Leo, I'm the guy you know.
Leo is sweet as pie, but he also knows he has options. He's very much so a little Devo. Okay, he knows that he is the apple of my eye and that he runs this joint. So it becomes very difficult, like when we were trying to take pictures or do anything, he act like he don't like me. But he is really, really sweet and feels like I know people say this all the time about kids and about their kids, but he feels like an old soul. He's changed me in every way. He's helped me be more clear with everything in my life. I think the main reason because I want to be able to be my best self and be in the best environment so that I can do and everything that I need to do for him. So in turn, that makes me more intentional. Makes me say no to the things I don't want to do, yes to the things that I do want to do, schedule different, just move differently so that I can have more space for me that I can then share with him.
Things got really difficult with Darius and even more public when Usher entered the picture.
I get that people feel like celebrities all know each other, or they're thinking in their mind that, I mean, ultimately I was doing what I do as an entertainer, as I was creating a fun moment. You know, that's what he does with every entertainer that comes to his show. How it became a genuine storyline of that me and Usher are in love or me and Usher have something going on. You know, I don't know how it got there. But usually, as we all know, things are never really what they seem.
Seeing what Darius posted, what was your reaction?
I was speechless because I was at a photo shoot. And everybody was looking all weird. I was like, are y'all good? And then I randomly was on my phone and I saw a Shade Room post of the comment and I was honestly just shocked. That was all. I was just like, okay. And then it continued. And then I didn't have no words. And it's not reality. I didn't want to engage with something that wasn't reality. So I kind of just became removed. And then at that point for me, I kind of just wanted it to not exist in the workspace because ultimately that's what it is for me. You know, in my opinion, I was just at a concert. I don't know how anybody else receives that, whether they know me or whether they're online. It was not that reality for me. So I didn't know what to do with it because I'm not in that reality. It's crazy. It got so out of control, and the only way that you know how to bring order or control to something is the court. I mean, that's literally what it's there for. You know what I mean? And it becomes difficult because I can't control all the information. When you have people like TMZ, they got friends in the court, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want, this is not for the public. This is for me to bring order within my family, the only way that I know how, which is through the court, not through the public, but the public's still gonna somehow know. And so that was difficult because I was not looking to make a scene, I guess is the thing. You know, I wasn't looking to make a scene, I was just looking to bring order to something, you know what I mean? Bring balance, okay? The best way that I could. I feel clear and certain. Before, the unsafety was the feeling of uncertainty. No structure, no grounding, no balance. Everything was. And it was a lot of stuff. It was humanity, it was my pregnancy, and it was just everything. And so now I feel clear. Things are clear, everything on every level. There's security. And so, yeah, I feel very at ease now, knowing that things make sense and they're under control and that, you know, there's a calm. A lot of people think they know my type, they don't know my type. My type is actually, I want to say this without saying words that people associate with not good things, but, you know, Steve Urkel type. You know, I'm looking for the guy that's in the sitcom. I'm looking for the guy that makes the dad jokes, you know, the son jokes. I'm looking for the guy that, like, is just, you know, like, hi. You know, I'm looking for that guy, okay? I'm looking for Stedman. My experiences, though unique to me, I think bring upon universal themes and messages. And me being a storyteller and loving to tell stories, I use my life almost in the way that like of a parable, where this is what I've gone through, this is what it is, but this is what I learned. And I don't know why I've always loved to do that. I've loved to do it as an actor, as a singer, and then I think obviously as an author. And I have more language to articulate that than I did the first time around. But I Don't Belong to You was definitely, came out when I was 21. It was about reclaiming my own narrative, or even understanding that I could do so by quieting the noise and more so like illuminating my voice. And then this one is about how I'm a more intentional person as it becomes to how I want to be perceived and move through this world. And that's how I came to Master of Me is, at 30, I've now become a mom, started looking at my career much more from a wide-eyed lens as opposed to very granular. I'm looking at it from a wide scale. I've gone through a lot more stuff that I have to peel back the layers from. You could define it as a memoir, but really it's like this is what I've learned so far. People want to know, how'd you do it? How do you reframe your thoughts? How do you stay excited when things have gone left? How do you, get over hard times? And it's hard when you're just doing it. And so the most challenging part about, I think, Master of Me is, how do I tell you how to master you? How do I give you the tools? And so it was really me constantly trying to get to the root of my own voice, of what it is that has helped me. And that's difficult. It's difficult to be able to tell someone something, how you're doing something. And so that was the most challenging aspect of Master of Me. So I hope that, people feel like I've given them some tangible ways to think like me or use the way that I think to benefit them the best. The coolest thing when it comes to the community that supports the Keke Palmer brand is they feel like I am a person that is for the community and that my work speaks to that. That to me is the greatest accolade. Well, I have people that, like they the auntie, uncle types, and they be like, love what you do in the community, sister. Love what you do in the community. Keep doing your thing. We appreciate you, sister. Like that gives me life. So my 30s, I'm looking for more realizations. I am excited to see what I missed or that I didn't get or truly process in my 20s. More experiences. I'm trying to travel down. More kids. I would love to have more kids, as many as I could. Boop, 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 bye bye. What else am I looking forward to? Just a continued greater sense of community, not just personally, but also business-wise, helping other creatives build their brands, being seen and being someone that is a part of that evolution and growth for BIPOC creators on a major level. I really just want to continue to use my platform to grow our community, both financially and personally and all those ways. So just be used. I really want to be of service. And what I hope for Master of Me is the same thing. Because a lot of the book is also about business, managing a business mind. Aside from my personal lessons, the acceptance that it's never really going to get easier. Life is always going to have challenges, but that we just get better at handling them.